Cool.
We are live.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Horizen biweekly update for 19 September 2018. I'm your host today, Rob Viglione at FinPunk and all of our channels. So we've got some good stuff for you. So let's move to the big picture slide, please. So as usual, we'll start with the community highlights and then dive right into the business development updates. We have some really good ones. Then we'll do the project updates. So we've got that split between projects that have been closed out, 100% complete. And then we'll show you the updates on the projects that are still ongoing. And we'll focus on those that actually have some updates or progress made in the last 2 weeks. And then we'll move over to the secure and super node systems. And DevMan will give you guys an update there. Then we'll switch over to the marketing, give you guys a bunch of updates there. Some really nice stuff. You can see here a little teaser of Horizen for Good. We've got a really cool activities ongoing. And then we'll break for the regional activities and go through each regional slide, and so you can see everything that's going on with Horizen around the world. So let's move on to the next slide and dive right into the community member highlights. So this is actually two very special shout outs here to the guys. This is a long time in coming for both of these guys. So Alex Gusev is Alex_Ru in our Alex_Ru_Dash in our Telegram. But Alex has been a huge friend of the project from the beginning. So I can't say enough amazing stuff about Alex, but he has just a tremendous amount of experience working with the Dash, and he's been kind of informally advising and helping out in the background for the last year and a half or so since we've been operating. So Alex, it's about time that we actually gave you this community recognition, and thank you so much for everything that you've done. So the other one that, it pains me personally to say this, but Peter Stewart, in all of our channels, he's one of these guys you love to hate or, hate to love, one or the other. But amazing supporter all around. And also to me personally, he's been a tremendous help, and to the team, a ridiculous amount of help. To the community, just a rock solid foundation member of our community and our team. So it's about time that we give a little bit of recognition to P-Stew, but hopefully it doesn't get to his head. He has one of these attitudes where it might. Just kidding, P-Stew. But thank you so much for your support. We love you guys. So that out of the way again, as you guys see, community members who are really stepping up and just contributing, please highlight them and send notice to Zenchick on Discord so that we can highlight the appropriate people for doing all of the good work that they're doing. So let me not hesitate any further and hand off to Rowan to go through the business development updates and the progress that we've made in the last 2 weeks. So Rowan, please have at it.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Rob. So we have 2 announcements to make this week. The first one being a new exchange listing with FUBT.top. Now, these are a great group of guys based in China that we've been in discussion with for quite a long time. The exchange itself is fairly significant in size, equivalent of number 6 on CoinMarketCap with a daily trade volume around about $390 million. So fantastic exchange to get into. The really great thing is that they have multi-language support. So users from China, from Hong Kong, and from Korea can use it, and obviously English language support as well. Starting off with 2 trading pairs. So we're going to have Zen Bitcoin and Zen FBT, which is the exchange token. We're also working on an Ethereum pair, which will be released reasonably soon. The other great thing is that in collaboration with FUBT, we're having a period of promotion. So in total, there's 1,000 Zen going to be given away through a variety of different trading competitions. So please fire over to FUBT.top, place some trades, and get involved. Next up is a decentralized exchange, Esco.DEX.com. So Esco.DEX, just like most other decentralized exchanges, is secure and anonymous. These guys are quite new to the market, have some really aggressive low trading fees at 0.1%. They've created 2 trading pairs for us. So we have Zen Bitcoin and Zen Esco, which is their own token. Great team to work with. The exchange itself looks to be working really, really well. So I encourage you guys to go and check it out, Esco.DEX.com. Now, a great thing that's been happening in recent times is that typically we have to work extremely hard to develop partnerships and create integrations with a variety of different organizations in the crypto industry. So be that exchanges or wallets or point of sales, ATMs, merchants. But as we continue to grow, we're actually at a point now where we have different organizations approaching us and saying, hey, Zen, we have collaborated, we've implemented you into our exchange or into our wallet. So at this point, we've got 2 new ones we can announce on that ilk. We have an Indonesian exchange, NusaX.co.id, and also Coingamex.com. So these are community-driven integrations. I must highlight that we have not vetted either of these organizations in the way we typically would with collaboration. However, I would like to say a big thanks to both organizations for supporting Zen. And that's it from me this week. Back to you, Rob.
Cool. Thank you, Rowan. I think it's great that we're starting to evolve to the point where, the community is just doing things that, we pay you to do. So I don't know what's going on with the future of BD here, and totally joking. We could not live without Rowan. But okay. So what we're going to do here on the ops side is we've changed things a little bit on the format, and we've got, so we have a few completed projects. So we're actually moving those out of the kind of active project slide. And then the other one is just purely the active projects. And like I said at the beginning, we'll focus on those that actually have some meaningful changes in the last 2 weeks. So keep in mind, guys, we're doing this every 2 weeks. So our team's spinning pretty hot right now, burning pretty hot on the the development and all the projects that we're doing. So everything you're witnessing here is progress over a 2-week interval. So I think this is pretty remarkable with the amount of efficiency that we have right now. But okay, so the completed projects, nothing new here. Just wanted to introduce the new format to you guys, and you'll see the ASIC resistance research, the difficulty algorithm research. Now this was difficulty algorithm to see which was most efficient for the 51% protection code, the penalty algorithm, and then also the transaction throughput and scaling research. This is moved into production. So this was just the preliminary research. And now the next slide, I'll show you where we are in the actual coding and release of that. And then the Tracer T, we've had this up there for a while now. This was the firmware update that we've completed a while back. And so that's where we are in the completed projects. We wanted to just have traceability here so that as people kind of go through the historical slide decks, they'll be able to see kind of a path for projects that are in progress and different completion rates. Then you'll be able to see them actually completed. So moving to the active projects, we've got 2 slides here. So the one that's near and dear to my heart, because I really wanted to drop the minimum confirmation times on all of our exchanges, which are pretty high right now, because security, again, you can see, I'll foot stomp this all day long, is security of our network and the integrity of the network is priority number 1. So this preventing 51% attack code, the penalty mechanism is a huge deal for us. And it's been undergoing extensive testing on our test net. I've got a whole slide, so I'll go through the details of what we're testing, how we're doing it, and then the rollout. But we're declaring this is 90% complete, and we're pushing hard. Actually, we have a deprecation cycle for essentially we have periodic software updates, that we want to push out into the production environment. And this one, we're pushing hard to get into the next deprecation cycle, which is actually 3 weeks from now. So, with anything that we push out there into mainnet or production environment, we want to have a sufficient window. So we've been testing this for a while, internal testing, now public testnet testing. So we're fairly confident with the way things are working, but we still want to give it a sufficient window. So certainly before the next bi-weekly update, we'll give you a status then of whether or not this code will be ready to push out to production on the next deprecation cycle. That's our target. It's looking pretty good right now. So stay tuned on that for the next bi-weekly. Side chains. Now, where we are on the side chains is we've been rigorously developing the model and doing mathematical proofs on all the security characteristics. So the paper that you're going to see here, the technical specs, is a very mature document with, I think, a groundbreaking model for how we're going to build out our platform ecosystem. And the very interesting stuff here, is what I think will be the first truly decentralized sidechain model to hit market. So this is decentralized in the sense where main chain does not need to know anything about any side chains that are formed. And so the side chains will have a standardized kind of interface or an SDK back to the main chain. So essentially it's purely decentralized where anyone in the world, so it could be an individual, it could be an entire enterprise that wants to build out a side chain and have it running in conjunction with our main chain, will be able to just pull our SDK and integrate and build out their side chain. Now, of course, we'll have a reference side chain, ideally in the future, a whole suite of reference side chains that people will be able to pull from and then modify. For us, this is a big deal because this is really the big business case for the Horizen network. Is we want to build out entire businesses on sidechains, entire networks here that are actually, migrating real economic activity onto our blockchain in a meaningful way, in a way that will benefit the entire ecosystem. Now, the treasury system, there's no updates here since the last bi-weekly. So we have the prototype. What we're doing now is we're evaluating the ScoreX framework, which is the underlying framework that we're building the treasury on, and this will be our first sidechain. Now, we have a 70% complete on off-chain challenge. So efficiency is, so I say network security is priority number one. Now, efficiency of the network and doing things very quickly in a very scalable way is, maybe we can call priority number two. Now, off-chain challenges is part of this, and what we do right now, everyone who runs a secure node or a super node knows how we do these challenges to make sure that you can actually run a snark compute so that we can, this is an indirect way of verifying that you meet minimum hardware requirements as a node operator. But the way that we do it now, it floods the network with all these additional snark computes or snark shielded transactions, which from a security perspective is actually a good thing because now our node commitment set is quite large, but it's not that efficient from a network perspective. So we've been cultivating a second option there, and we're 70% complete on that work. So the core code changes are in progress, and the node tracker changes are upcoming next. Next slide, please. So you saw a completed project for transaction weight and block weight research. Now we took the research results and we punted this off to a production development team or a development team for production. What this is going to give us is a much more efficient way of calling get block template. So this is whenever a miner goes to package transactions into a Horizen block, there's a set of parameters that they can choose from. And because our network had some early scalability problems with kind of flooding transactions, especially when we had Binance. When we got our Binance listing, this was sort of a wake-up moment for us because so many people were pulling Zen off of other exchanges and pushing them onto Binance or vice versa, but going from exchange to exchange. And the way exchanges do transactions is they bundle a whole bunch of small UTXOs or unspent transaction outputs into a single transaction, so the transactions actually get quite large. And the large transactions were actually bogging down the network. And what we realized was that pool operators and other miners, the way that they were actually limiting the number of transactions per block artificially, but with good reason because the transactions themselves were growing quite large. But this new transaction weight or block weight parameter that we're developing will give a much more efficient way for miners and pool operators to be able to package transactions with the blocks. So this is getting to core technology improvements, and it's I think quite exciting because everything we're doing is we want to become increasingly efficient and scalable as a network, and ultimately that means useful. So our scaling study, this is our work with research project with IOHK on the DAG or the block DAG research. So we're calling it 95% complete. We've been at the stage where the DAG protocol is defined, a prototype was created and tested, and now we have a research paper with all of the results of all of this work. Right now, it's been an internal review by IOHK before they released it to us, and then we released to the public. So stay tuned on that one. Now, node tracker refinement. So no updates here, guys. The updates that we have are in blue. So the next update is the proposal portal, and this is where our product and user experience team, managed by Gustavo, have been doing some really good work. This is where we want to be as community involved of a project as possible. So we want the community to have as broad of an opportunity to submit work proposals to the rest of the community of the project to do valuable things. And we've been doing this informally through our forum thus far. But we've been talking about, ultimately, we're going to have this treasury system that's fully automated and very game theoretic and technologically advanced. But in the interim, though, we wanted to open something up nice and elegant for community members to be able to submit work proposals in a nice, standardized, defined way so that the rest of the community can evaluate them and we can make resource decisions to decide which ones of these are popular or fit our strategic vision to accelerate where we're going and involve more community members. So we're 65% complete on that. The coding is done and we're just in the testing process right now. So it's looking really good. The other really exciting thing, we don't have a formal update for you here, but our flagship wallet is, now this is a brand new wallet built from scratch. It's going to be a desktop and web wallet, including light and full node support. So this is something that's really important is as we grow here, so users or customers are number one in terms of like everything we do should be creating real world value for people out there, and making really good high quality products is key to that. Okay, so we've got some really good stuff in the pipeline. The flagship is one that I'm very excited about, so I wanted to mention it. We're calling it 80% complete. We're hoping to have a beta deliverable in October. So right now it's undergoing internal testing. All right, so next slide, please. Getting a little bit more into the weeds on the dev side is on the consensus enhancement stuff. This is our 51% mitigation project that we're working really hard to push into the next deprecation cycle and for release in 3 weeks. Now, we've had successful internal simulations and testing, and then we pushed this to our public testnet in August on the 22nd, and we've been in public testing since then. So the public testing is actually quite methodical. Our internal testing was methodical, but now the public testing is also methodical, and we have a variety of vignettes or scenarios that we've been testing. So the first one was having a single mining pool attempt to perform an attack. To see if they can organize an attack and try to brute force it the way that we were attacked a few months ago. So it passed, testing passed, penalty was applied, and the node did not accept any malicious, or the nodes on the testnet did not accept the malicious chain. So that was really good news. So the code seems to be doing what it's designed to do, and that was really good. Then we flipped that around and had a single mining pool try to mine the penalized blocks to see if they can get the penalty back down to zero. So on the one hand here, we have a penalty assigned to delayed block reporting. So if you're mining blocks and you say you win a block, so you find a nonce that actually solves the block difficulty satisfactorily, and you choose not to report this to the network, you delay the reporting to the network. This is the whole thing that we penalize. And the first test showed that we're successful at penalizing. But the second thing is, we want, ultimately, like, we don't want network segmentation. Now, this is the really big risk of doing something like this, is we could potentially at some point have a segmented network. Say some big geographical disruption happens to the internet, and we have part of the world disrupted or disjoint from the network on another part of the world, and then the two networks recombine. So say whatever caused this disruption in our network or the internet, it's resolved and the networks recombine. Do we have a valid mechanism to now recombine these chains in a way that we don't just have two blockchains going out into perpetuity? The answer is yes. So we have a mechanism in our model here that actually can have honest miners successfully reducing the penalty over time, and then have merging of the networks or a chain that's actually deemed to be the valid chain. So that test passed successfully. That was really good news. And now we have competing mining pools with similar hash power attempting to perform attacks. This is the next big one that we're doing now, and we hope to have this successfully resolved in the next few days, and a rollout plan made public, which will include our next, will include this software update into our next deprecation cycle in 3 weeks. So that's really good news. The team's been doing an excellent job. The community's been participating. So this is a very big update for the project. And once we get this live, guys, and we can say, we're at much reduced risk of 51% attack, then we're going to be pushing this out to all of our exchange partners. And we'll actually have Alberto and the team has been working on a new RPC function, which will be able to explicitly give you a probabilistic estimate of when, say given some confidence level, say an exchange wants to be 99% confident that a double spend can't happen, or say 99.99% confident. We'll actually have an RPC function where you'll be able to call it as an exchange operator or anyone else on the network, and it'll be able to spit out for you a block, number of blocks required to reach that confidence level. So this is a much more sophisticated way for exchanges and other network participants in our ecosystem to know what the minimum confirmation in terms of blocks should be. So all exciting updates that we're really happy to push out to the mainnet in short order. Okay, so that was a mouthful. Let's move on to the secure and supernode updates. Devman, do you want to give it a go here?
Yeah, thanks, Rob. On the secure node updates, there's not a lot of apparent change going on from the last bi-weekly here. We are moving towards the new tracker, the 4.0, but in the background what we're doing is we are updating the secure node servers. They were a couple iterations behind the super nodes, and it's all the same code base. So we've been bringing those up to date, and we've been breaking down some of those changes into incremental updates to help minimize the impact. But on the new node tracker, we're still working on that. We're still looking at the same types of features and potentially including some other features into it to help with the connectivity and making sure that things are connected and updated in more timely fashion. We'll be dropping the TLS peer check to help reduce the load on the servers. We'll be able to balance between the different regions with that version. And it's going to be just like the supernodes with the same code, but just work with one IP address instead of requiring two. No max connection set, like we've stated before, so that the servers can always connect to the node with no restrictions and do the DNS check and the certificate check. And the other thing that has caught a few operators was the tracker IP not being in the DNS. It's always been a requirement. Maybe it wasn't clear in the past, but that the IP address of the node tracker itself is the same as the Zend IP. And we still don't have a firm date on this. We're getting back to the migration since that was delayed with all of our rebranding and server updates and everything else that was happening in the background. So you should be seeing some more information on that in the near future. Next slide, please. For the supernodes, that 4.0 version will not be required yet, but that may change in the near future too. On both systems, the number of nodes seems to be slowing down and incrementing, still increasing, but we're at the 2,000 mark for the supernodes now, so we've surpassed that threshold. As always, I think Rob covered some of the items already for the goals of supernodes, and we're still looking forward to seeing everything running on the side chains in the near future. Back to you, Rob.
Cool, thank you, Alan. Okay, the next slide is an R&D slide, just giving a summary of basically the stuff that I've already talked about. So I'll just be quick with it. The first project here is the DAO Treasury and voting system prototype. No real updates here. We're still waiting on the sidechain SDK because we want this Treasury system to be the first sidechain that we have. So that's our plan to bring this to production. The scaling study, so this is 95% complete and sitting with research paper, is undergoing internal review at IOHK, and then will be released to us, and then we'll release it to the community. So that's going to be really good results there. So things look to be moving very fast on the block DAG model. And then our internal team here is exploring a sidechain solution. We have an excellent model that we're very excited about. It will be announcing shortly. And it's actually, we have one of our teams at InfoPulse is testing a ScoreX framework for us to actually use as on our first sidechain with the Treasury voting system. So good work going on there. What I'm going to do now is pass off to the Zenchik or Rosario on our marketing team to give us those updates. Sorry, were we having voice there on Rosario? Let me just hand off to her.
Hi, everyone. This is Rosario from Ops and Marketing here. Sorry, I had some voice issues. We are proud to announce that Horizen has joined forces with Tour de Crypto to support the Houston Area Women's Center, or HAWK. This is a really fun event and all for a great cause. Tour de Crypto is the first annual cycling road trip created specifically to raise awareness on cryptocurrencies and also hand those off for charity. So the 2018 tour consists of 2 riders, Jason Berlin and Jovel Velasquez, along with a driver, videographer, and audio crew. And they've already started in New York and will be riding all the way to Huntington Beach, completing that on November 9th. So this is a cross-country, cross-continent ride for an amazing cause. 100% of the proceeds will go towards the Houston Area Women's Center, or HAWK, as I mentioned. And HAWK is a leading nonprofit that works to end domestic violence and sexual violence and supports all in building safe and healthy lives through advocacy, counseling, education, shelter, and support services. HAWK has a 4-star rating on the Charity Navigator, so that's great news. And they've agreed to accept cryptocurrency as a form of donation. So also great use case for cryptocurrencies. We'd also love to open this opportunity for the community to join and participate in the donation. So we'll be providing a Zen address for our community members to participate and support. A special shout out to Nick Hillman for introducing us to the Tour the Crypto guys. We're really happy to support them in their efforts to raise money and awareness for HAWK. And this is a great cause that we should all be supporting. Next slide, please. Okay, so you asked for it and we delivered. The long-awaited store is finally here. We launched this past week. The store is performing great. The purpose of the store is not necessarily to make money. We're just selling the products at operational cost. And we're not in the merchandise business. But the purpose of the store is to create awareness and to have our community members have the opportunity to purchase some merchandise and display the Horizen colors proudly and publicly. And all the products were selected carefully. And our design team has carefully crafted the design. So I'm really, really proud of our team. We've seen orders from China, Australia, and different countries in Europe, actually all over Europe and the USA. So that it's been an amazing reach for our different community. So as I mentioned, all the designs were crafted by our design team, and we really hope you love wearing the merchandise and to help us raise awareness of Horizen. I will say that more merchandise and designs are going to be added. So check out our store frequently. Currently, we have 3 collections: the Classic, HODL, and the Limitless collection. The Limitless is my personal favorite. So far, it's clean and modern, and I really, really like it. But we'll have more collections being added soon. So we're going to have the Horizen Designer Collection, which is everything the blockchain and crypto currency industry needs. And it's inspired by original designs by our Horizen design team. And the Community Collection. So stay tuned for this. We're going to be opening up some designs for our community members to contribute and have some fun designs. So stay tuned on that. You still have an opportunity to get a 10% discount code by using I Love Horizen through the 25th of September. And so submit your order soon. I'll also notice that the store accepts Zen only. So don't just HODL, but make use of your earned Zen. And of course, tag us on social media by using the hashtag HorizenStyle. All right, next slide, please. So some of our top sellers are here. Of course, t-shirts are the most popular category, but people are buying from all sorts of items. So from mugs, we even have a cool pillow and accessories. So I mentioned before that orders are coming in from all over the world, which is amazing to see. And yeah, visit our store and let us know what you think of the designs. Next slide, please. Congratulations to the winners of the of Free Ledger. We held a competition to raise awareness on our new brand expansion to Horizen. Special thanks to the over 5,000 community members that help us raise awareness of our brand expansion by sharing on social media. Again, we were really amazed at how global our project has become by the variety of countries that participated in the competition. Anyone with a passion and vision is welcome here at Horizen, and we're thankful that our community members have helped us grow and excel. So congratulations to Dilsher from Canada, Rockstar from South Africa, Corentin from France, Ahmed from Bosnia, and Gordon from Singapore. You guys are the winners. You should have been contacted already, but we will continue just making sure that you receive your free Ledger Nano S so you could keep your Zen offline safely. And for those that did not win this time around, don't worry. We'll have another fun competition soon. Next slide, please. So we had our first competition swag giveaway just to create some excitement about our new brand. So the swag is on the way. So congratulations to the happy winners. Looking forward to seeing some of the pictures of you wearing your cool swag. Next slide, please. So we've been really busy going around the world. These are just some of the pictures of Rob touring Seoul last week at the ETC Summit. He was speaking about synergies and opportunities with the ETC community. So that was really, really great to be there. And we'd love to see collaboration across communities to increase the innovation and bringing the technology to market quicker. We had the opportunity to catch up with our advisor, Charles Hoskinson, while we were there and meet the rest of our DCG product family team. So Rob also spoke in Ukraine at the Blockchain UA in Kyiv. And it was a great opportunity to catch up with our wallet developer, Aidan, in Ukraine, and also our IOHK team that is leading our R&D for Treasury and the Block DAG solution. So special, just as a personal note, it was amazing to see how advanced Ukraine is in leading the way for cryptocurrency adoption. So we're really excited to have more of a presence there in Ukraine. And while we were in Kyiv, Rob had the opportunity to talk to CryptoTexty about Zen and the economics, and they were bantering about a lot. So we're hoping to see that interview go live soon. And special thanks to Andre for having us over and buying a coffee with some Zen. All right, so next slide for upcoming events. So again, Rolf is going around the globe. He is in Budapest this week, and he'll be speaking at a blockchain conference meetup about overcoming difficulties in launching and growing cryptocurrency projects. And of course, Horizen has had a lot of challenges, so he is going to be passing those lessons learned to other crypto enthusiasts. Rolf is also heading to Amsterdam, but I'll let Arno talk about that a bit later. And Rob will be speaking at the London at the Blockchain Live in London. So looking forward to seeing our community members there. We're going to have a meetup along with CoinScrum, one of the largest meetups group in London. So we hope to see our community members and meeting new people interested in Zen and Horizen. So, of course, we've also announced Rob will be in Los Angeles for the CanMed, and Rolf will be speaking at the Texas Bitcoin Conference. And that is it for marketing. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Rosario. So why don't we're going to kick off the country lead updates and see where we are in the global scene. So, David, if you want to kick it off with Russia and Eastern Europe.
Absolutely, sir. Well, hello, everyone. I am chiming in from Kiev, Ukraine, where Rob himself was here a few days ago, spoke at the Blockchain UA conference. It's funny that I have to apologize in the very last minute because of some participant ticketing issue, Rob will not make it to the Tbilisi Mining Summit himself, but fortunately we have Vano there, who will be presenting, who will be present and be networking with all the participants about Horizen. As far as meetups, we had our first Horizen meetup held in Tbilisi on September 13th, and you can see Vano talking about Horizen there in that picture. We also have Rolf touring Europe, and he'll be talking about Horizen in Budapest on September 20th. The link here for the meetup was way too long to put in the slide, but we can post it in the comments, or if you simply search in the meetup, I think the conference title is something like "Meet the co-founder of top cryptocurrency in Hungary." There shouldn't be that many presenting on that day. That's another way to find it. And we have a little bit of a development update. North Dakota, our big fan of Horizen and a great participant for all the community projects, is building a node tracking app, and there's a teaser little picture there on that right side how it would look like. And I think that's about it for me, Rob. So next would be Arno.
Hi everyone. And David, yeah, I have the same issues with all the meetups which we have in Europe. So I think what I can suggest is, if you want to find the meetups, you just Google the location, Horizen, and then the meetup. And then Google mostly finds the platform.
After lunch. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, and talking about meetups, yes, Rosario, you mentioned the Amsterdam meetup where Rolf is speaking. I encourage everyone to just register in the meetup platform, because if you are registered there, you will get food and some drinks for free. So I think it's worth it to give a little bit of your privacy to the public and register on the meetup.com platform. Then I have to announce two more meetups. One is actually Jinja, which is a town in Uganda. And then in October, we have in Chemnitz, Germany, East Germany, a meetup, which is a special town because recently in Germany, we have some issues about racism. So this is a place where some stuff happens. You might find it in the media as well. So we will have a blockchain meetup there with my old blockchain meetup group. And then I have two more points on my list. The second point is about Ayara. Thanks for all the traveling. He is always on the road. He is right now also in Uganda preparing the meetup. And then there is a picture from the Nairobi meetup. As you can see, the African community is very interested in blockchain. For them, it's really hard to get in the market. But one big step for us is the application for some funding. It's a funding for Internet of Freedom. We made it through the first round, which was like filling out the application form, built a team, and Ayara is now with Richard from the University in Nairobi in the second round. Last but not least, I hope Dominic is here to speak a little bit about the French community. Dominic?
Yeah. Yes. Good evening, everyone. So
hi, Dominic.
You can hear me?
Yes. Well.
Yeah. Okay. So we've been focusing on mining operations in France, and we are building up the French community and networking with French miners. So there is Alain from Metz City in France. He's the CEO of a company called Mining Malin. He's also online right now, so if you have questions, you can just chat with him. And the company just opened around mid-July. They have 1,000 square meters and 1 megawatt capacity. So they provide a mining infrastructure for the people who want to mine and don't have the infrastructure at home. And so we just launched this month like a half mega hash dedicated for Zen. And by the end of September, we should already be around 2 megabyte mega hash dedicated for Zen. So they accept also Zen as payment. So if you wanna pay with Zen, it's not a problem. And yeah, we build a pool, also a French pool that is still under test because we didn't have enough power for now to break the first block. So we are still waiting for the end of September, and hopefully we can confirm that the pool is working and launch the pool too. Yeah, so that's it from my side now.
Okay,
for now.
Dominic, you want to give some French words to the French community?
Yes. Bonsoir tout le monde. Donc, si vous avez des questions, vous pouvez parler à Mining Malin est une entreprise qui une infrastructure de minage et vous avez la possibilité de prendre des contrats chez lui et donc ils acceptent aussi les Zen comme moyen de paiement. Et voilà, je crois qu'Alain est en ligne, donc n'hésitez pas à écrire si vous êtes présent. Okay, that's it.
Cool, thank you, man. Luca, I think you're the next one.
Yes, I am. Thank you. So, ciao, Horizen. This is Luca from Italy. Thank you for following us as always. Here I am with a fast update from the Italian market. So, in the recent days, I had the chance to speak with different people from different organizations, like a charity organization. Can't say the name yet as we are still in an early stage of the potential partnership, but I can tell you that the name is very known. It's one of the most important worldwide, and they reached us with a very interesting idea that involves the use of our secure and super node, finding a use case that is very innovative and at the same time could be very effective with a nice impact on the society. Can't tell you more than this right now, but hopefully we will very soon. Then I'm also speaking with some sports team at the same time, including a well-known one in the Zen Valley area. So the idea here would be to sponsor one of these teams in order to have a nice visibility all over the region, but also at a national level in Italy, as these teams are all playing in the first division of their respective sports. Like before, cannot say too much right now, but imagine it is a traditional sponsorship with the club wearing uniforms sponsored by Horizen, and even the Horizen name could be part of the sports team names. Things are still under evaluation, of course, from a return of investments point of view, because of, I mean, this is what drives a sponsorship of this kind. But anyway, I will keep you posted. Another thing, I've been speaking with some shops and local agencies of different kinds belonging to insurance and automotive market verticals for Zen adoption and incentives plans. So while I love the idea of these traditional businesses adopting Zen as a payment method, I also believe that incentives plans for merchants are something we may not offer at the moment. We could evaluate more formal contractual services if they are interested, if you are interested in some specific blockchain developments. So feel free to reach us out if you have something like that in mind. We would be very interested in knowing more. Also, I'm continuing the conversation with ATMs, exchanges, and point of sales providers. So Chainblock in particular is the most important ATM circuit here. And I'm meeting with them again next week. We will also have, we now also have a good link with a very important international company who owns a big exchange in which we are not listed yet. So we'll make sure we visit them and talk with them. This will happen at the beginning of October, and at the same time with the second biggest point of sale provider here in the country, with which I've had already some calls and meetings. So hopefully these things are going to close before the end of the year in a positive way. We'll keep you posted also on that. If you are Italian, be aware that the new website has been completely localized in Italian, as well as I encourage you in following the Italian blog. And also, if you are in nearby, please come say hi if you are in London, because I will be part of the team who's attending the London Blockchain Live conference. Finally, please find an advanced draft of the first Horizen's Telegram sticker. Many others are coming together with it, thanks to the imagination of Chiara, the Italian artist and community member who's designing them. So can't wait to use them all on our channel. Thank you, everybody. The word next for the next.
Great. Thank you, Luca, and to everyone. I'll give a quick update on the China market because Lucy is currently on vacation, which is kind of weird. She never takes any time off. But so we have some really good things going on in China. The first I'll mention is on the humanitarian side is one of our community members, his mother was recently diagnosed with lung cancer, and another Chinese community member decided to take the initiative to set up the equivalent of a GoFundMe campaign in China. So what we'll do is we'll distribute the information for anyone who wants to learn more about this, and please do your due diligence, investigate it. But if you do want to contribute and participate, we'll have that information available for you. The same community volunteer, so Guan Yin, has just been extremely, not just helpful, but really getting out there and being an active ambassador for the project. And so he set up the first Supernode workshop at a local university in China, and he gave a Horizen presentation to a large crowd at another public event. So he's just kind of a one-man army out there, just getting out there and helping out with the project. So thank you very much, Guan, for all of your support. So guys, that's what we have in conclusion for this bi-weekly update. There's a lot going on constantly, and his team is doing a phenomenal job. And I feel like we're just getting warmed up as a project. It's been a long road so far, and it's been a challenging year for all of the crypto industry, but the team has been focused and really resilient and just moving forward on so many different levels. So we have some great stuff on the horizon, no pun intended, but you can see the motivation for the name there. So what we'll do is Rowan and I will take some Q&A. And so if you have any questions, please post them into either the YouTube chat, if you're listening to this from YouTube, or to the bi-weekly update chat on our Discord. So either one of those, and the team will relay them to us, and Rowan and I will field them. So the first question, just to kick it off, Vano just relayed it, is on any updates on Ledger. So it's been a little bit slow to send Zen transactions. I think this was an update with Ledger Live, and actually it's on the Ledger HQ. Ledger HQ, the Ledger team itself, is actually aware of the issue and working on a fix. So please be patient with that. And it seems like the first fix that they're working on is an issue in the Windows environment. So Rowan, if you want to take the next one, since it involves FUBT.
Yeah, sure. Sorry, just before we move on, I think it's worth highlighting the limitations of the Ledger devices. So Ledgers are fantastic for hodling. They're one of the best ways to keep your crypto safe. Any hardware wallet is clearly the most secure option to use. But what they're not particularly good at is compiling really large transactions and trying to sort of collate all those tiny little UTXOs into one large output spend. So the two main areas where the Ledger or Trezor or any of these other different hardware wallet devices will fall over is when you're trying to do transactions from either mining or from staking, so node type payout rewards. So we've had a number of different community members mention similar things. There is a bit of flexibility there. So if you have a couple of nodes, then the chances are if you perform relatively frequent maintenance, and by maintenance what I mean is compile all of your small payments into one transaction, then you'll probably be okay. But the problem comes when you start talking about mining to a ledger for a prolonged period of time, or staking, say, 10 plus nodes to a single ledger. So something to bear in mind. Great for hodling, not ideal for staking, not ideal for mining. There is actually a dedicated page on the Ledger website that explains exactly what I've just been through in a bit of detail. So we'll share a link to that in the bi-weekly update chat. To answer the FUBT question, So that was from Trollolino, I believe. And the question was, who paid for the FUBT promo competition? So typically, we can't talk about things like this because we're under non-disclosure agreements. But this promotion was actually completely separate to our contract. And therefore, I can quite happily confirm that Zen paid for the promo. So we funded these 1,000 Zen. It's very early days for FUBT. Trading volume just now is super low, but it's going to start kicking off over the next week or so.
Cool. Thank you, Rowan, especially for the detail on Ledger. Sometimes you just take that stuff for granted, but very important. And let's see, we have a question from Barnabas Busa. So are you looking to hire newbies? And if so, which field specifically? So we are always interested in new talents. But guys, if you look at the markets recently, our budget is denominated in Zen. So I can say we're very much budget constrained right now. So the things that we're doing are extremely selective. And but that said, we actually have one open job rec on the market right now. We're looking for a copywriter. So a copywriter who's also extremely proficient in social media. So if I think the marketing team has that open job position. So, but as we go forward, we're doing things quite a bit more professionally now with our recruiting strategy. So we're actually putting together very specific job requirements with backgrounds that we're looking for, skills, expertise, and even just the types of people that we'll be going through hiring rounds on in interviews. So, but that said, we'll certainly have more information public as we're doing more hiring. Right now is a fairly challenging time in terms of the budget constraints. So, okay, so when is DAG going live? I guess I'll field this one. Is when is DAG going live on mainnet? So we actually, the work that we have right now is prototype. So we have a prototype that we're going to be, that's been undergoing some mod and sim, and we're going to have the results for that published with this IOHK white paper. Going from there, it is quite a challenging process to bring this live from prototype to production. It's a non-trivial, development where we're essentially rebuilding everything from scratch. So we don't want to be too specific, but in terms of ballparks, I think we have. I don't want to quote it off the top of my head. Rowan, do you have the ballpark for that in our Trello board? I'm not sure if that's been updated, but it's certainly in 2019. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me right this second, but yeah, 2019.
Yeah. So we don't want to be too specific on that one, but yeah, sorry about that. But it is ongoing, and just we're learning a lot from the prototype anyway. So let's see, what's the annual expected inflation rate? So we're on the Bitcoin supply path emission schedule, which means that we're halving every 4 years. So we're still pre-first halving. So we have 12.5 Zen emitted on average every 2.5 minutes, which is our block find rate, which is about 50 Zen per 10 minutes, which is identical to Bitcoin's. Now, what that means in terms of gross magnitude, it's roughly, I think the numbers are like 2.5 million Zen per year that are emitted at this part of that schedule. So as soon as we hit the next halving schedule, though, that number's, well, by definition, cut in half. So we're at the maximum inflation part right now. So this is identical to Bitcoin in the first 4 years of Bitcoin. Ron, do you see any other questions? I think it's pretty light this week.
Yeah, we've got a couple that are from YouTube. So we've got a question on delivery of Zen Vault. Somebody asking when that's going to be out and in the wild.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's so Gustavo's team is currently internally testing Zen Vault. Whether or not that's what the name's going to be. It's going to be our flagship wallet. So it's quite impressive of some software that we're going to be delivering. I think what we're targeting is a beta release in middle of October, if I'm remembering that correctly.
That sounds right to me as well. So we were originally hoping to have it out by the end of September, which is what we communicated previously. But there was a couple of last minute niggles that we wanted to make sure we had ironed out to make it the best product it could possibly be before we launch to market. So aiming for mid-October. It might move slightly, but that's currently our best guess estimate.
Cool. And on, let's see, delivery of Zen Grid and Zen Hide. So actually, Zen Hide is the first one that we've been kind of working in the background. And we were evaluating initially a domain fronting solution that just didn't turn out to be very robust, in particular because a lot of the, the providers of such types of fronting services, like the Googles and the Amazons, were actually halting their services, shutting down. So it just didn't look like a very feasible path for us. So actually, we're looking at a very interesting alternative path there. So I can't really say much detail until we hash out some of the details on our end. But the first of these two products will be potentially, I think personally, potentially one of our first killer apps on the Zen Hide side. Now, the Zen Grid would be following from there. And the vision here is we're looking at building like a Zen Play Store, a Zen Store, kind of like a Google Play Store, but for our own apps in our ecosystem. So the first one is, we're targeting Zen Hide in a very innovative way that I think will be very exciting. So I can't really say much more now, and sometimes it's very challenging where you're working on some very cool stuff, but you just can't spill the beans before it's prematurely. Rowan, you wanna field the Exodus question?
Yeah, sure. So have we spoken to them ever? Absolutely, yes, we have. Can we really talk about the details we've spoken about? Unfortunately, not really. But our aim is to get into as many different wallets and exchanges as physically possible. So if there's a particular wallet or exchange that you guys want to see Zen integrated with, then your support would be massively appreciated. The weight of the full community is much more powerful than the weight of any one of the team. So if you do want to see us somewhere, please get in touch with that organization and help the push to make it happen.
Cool. And yeah, sorry, Rowan, what did you have?
I'm not sure if I'm seeing very many other questions.
Well, we've got one on Zen being added to the Trezor integrated exchange. I don't have any information on that. Do you, Rowan?
I certainly don't know.
Yeah. And okay, let's see. How does Sapling for mobile device support fit into the overall block DAG phantom picture? So that it's a little too early to talk about that, but in terms of how we're going to integrate snarks into our block DAG, that's at least the commitment right now is to the Zcash upstream schedule. So we have no plans to deviate from the upstream schedule whatsoever. The DAG stuff is fairly innovative and cutting edge. So I can say the intention is to maintain the upstream path, but as of right now, we don't have a specific answer to that.
We have somebody asking about where they can go to see job openings. That's something we don't currently have, but we are definitely going to be adding that to the next iteration of the website. We'll announce that when it's ready and ready to move.
And Zen Vault should support Ledger integration. Oh, this is from Jake. Yes, that's true. We would like to ultimately have our wallet products integrated with or interoperable between with Ledger and other hardware devices in future.
One thing that is pretty cool is that the flagship wallet will be able to, rephrase. You'll be able to back up your Ledger wallet to the flagship wallet. So if you have made a mistake and you have 40 or 50 secure nodes being staked in a single ledger and it's frozen up and you can't withdraw your funds, you'll be able to take your seed phrase, put it into the new flagship wallet, and regain access to your addresses. So that's something that we've been specifically working on for a couple of different community members, and it's a great improvement to usability. So quite excited about that.
See, another question on any information on potential collaboration with the ETC. So the good news is we're working with the IOHK team that also works on Cardano. So there's certainly overlapping technologies here that we're doing on the R&D side. But So I was just in Seoul, Korea at the ETC Summit, and my presentation to them was from snarks to sidechains in a whole bunch of different ways that I think we would be crazy not to work with each other, especially because our communities are just so much aligned and we have such strong overlap in values. But that said, we don't have any kind of partnerships or specific collaborations to announce at this time. But it's certainly on the radar. And what happens to supernodes once you've reached the 2,500 nodes? So the thing is, with the 2,500 node estimate, that was just a target of what we thought the node network would grow out to over the coming couple of years. It's grown much faster actually than we thought. But how will we? So the question is, how will we drop and add new nodes? Or what a lot of node operators care about is ultimately the return on their investment. And obviously, the more nodes that we have a fixed funding pool that gets split amongst all of the node operators. So, of course, the Zen reward per node per week or per whatever time unit is actually decreasing on average. Now, of course, there's counterbalancing economic factors here. So, in the long run, the more people that buy Zen and stake it and create nodes on it, they're actually taking Zen off market. So this is kind of a buy side demand pressure. So that's kind of one counterweight, but we don't have any intentions to change the block rewards. But what we do have, which is I think maybe more interesting in the long run, is the block rewards provide a base level income for all node operators. But the really interesting stuff is on the App Store side. And as we start unrolling apps, like Zen Grid and some other Zen Hide stuff that we'd like to announce in the near term, is revenue flows from each of these apps will be available to node operators to decide to run the apps. So there'll be packages to nice binaries that node operators can then go and install pretty easily. And then as they're running these other apps, say like Zen Grid, and they're using some of their processing power on the servers, the rent income that comes into the network gets split amongst network participants, with a chunk going to node operators. So to me, this in the long run is much more sustainable as we're building real economic ecosystems, or real economics into our ecosystem. And it's not just block rewards. Block rewards are great for initializing things, but the long-term vision is always on bringing in real use cases and real product revenues. All right, what else we got here, Roman?
We have a question on whether or not Horizen will support shielded transactions, which has kind of been answered on YouTube already, but I'll just reiterate. So Horizen is a light client, which means that it's not running a local Zen daemon. So it's not able to do shielded transactions itself. However, you can hook it up with one of your secure nodes or super nodes, and you can basically use Horizen as a kind of remote client to carry out shielded transactions using your node's daemon. So it's kind of a yes and a no. Wasn't really the original intention, but there is a kind of a workaround way of doing it. Light clients are basically there to be nice, simple, and clean ways of portably accessing your funds without necessarily having to have the whole chain synced. If you want to do shielded transactions, though, the full node wallet, so Swing, is the best way. And when the new flagship wallet comes out, that will also support shielded transactions fully. And then we have a question: was there an official statement on commercial use of the Horizen logo? So I think this one is pretty simple to answer. So if somebody wanted to create their own merchandise and share that in any way, shape, or form to help the greater good of Horizen, then clearly that wouldn't be an issue for us. At the end of the day, you're helping spread the word and you're helping develop a bigger community. On the flip side, if somebody was using it for nefarious reasons, then of course we would try and take action to protect our community.
Yeah, and I think, so Rosario mentioned it, or an augmented section on the website with actually the guidelines for what would constitute acceptable usage. All right, guys, we're running a little bit over here today, so thank you very much for joining and around. You can ping any of us on Discord, and please, like and share and just get the word out. Right, this is a community project, and We need active support from the community members. So one thing we need now is community building and getting out there as much as possible, and really like take action yourselves, take responsibility, and get out there and share all the content you can. Help educate people. Go to all of our communication channels, our Twitter, get on Reddit. Stay active on Discord, on Telegram, and get more people to join as well. So thank you very much for joining us here today. It's been a very fun and productive 2 weeks, and we'll see you again in another 2 weeks with some other very exciting updates for you. So thank you very much. Take care, guys.